All right. So welcome to class 3. Yay! Whoop, whoop. So hopefully you guys have learned stuff through class 1 and class 2. Make sure that you turn in your homework. You do have until the end of May to get all the homework turned in. Okay, so when you get all of that turned in, then you will be rewarded with a tablecloth. Hey, it's so weird not having you guys like talk. Okay, so class 3 is all about systems and time management, you guys. How many of us feel we need that in our life? Absolutely, we all do at some point in time, right? Just when we think we've got it figured out, guess what? Life changes. And then we've got to tweak and readjust. So this first portion, you guys, is going to be reiterating personal sales, unit sales, okay? Remember that the personal sales that Tupperware puts in here is not a requirement, but just simply a guideline that the party is the place. You guys all know that. Party is a place, and when you're out partying in a variety of ways, because everybody likes to do that different, but when you're out there partying, that's when obviously you make your immediate cash flow. That is when you meet more people. That is when you date more parties. It's when you share the opportunity with others, right? The list goes on. And so it's definitely your office to save you more time. And so by doing that, what I want you to kind of challenge yourself with is, what is your personal sales goal on a monthly basis? And maybe you have set a goal out there and you haven't quite achieved it. Maybe it is setting it just a little bit smaller so that it's that bite-sized piece that you can take a bite out of, so that you can get that win. So then you can move on to that next phase, to that next step, okay? And then it is just constantly making those contacts, constantly reaching out to new people, constantly building your social media network, as well as your networking circle, if you will. Okay, so networking groups, whether it be on Facebook, in person, there's a variety of different networking groups that are popping up all over the place. So definitely check into those, because again, it helps you meet a whole different clientele. And then the last thing I also want to just quickly remind you that is great to also help build your business, to build the date book, is by asking for referrals. And so are we constantly asking for referrals? Have you guys used, well, first let me ask you this. Have you seen that business card style that I posted a while ago for you? It's a referral postcard or referral business card. Okay, so if you haven't printed those off yet, I highly recommend it. And make sure at your parties you're letting people know that referrals is the highest compliment that someone can give you. Right? And when they refer someone to you, that you take it very serious and you'll take care of those individuals. And here's my gift back to you for entrusting me with your family and friends. And just by even addressing that and bringing it to life to people, they even are more trustworthy of you. Okay? So those are just some other things to not only use yourself, but also share with your unit members, right? All right, we're just gonna bypass that. The things that get scheduled are the things that get done. Would you agree or disagree? Agreed, right? And so again, tonight we're gonna really be talking about schedules and balance, because balance is super important, and it typically is one of the first things that can get thrown off. So we'll go through the things that are important for you, your family, your business, and are they in the day book? Are they in your schedule? Okay. And when we fail to plan, we plan to fail, right? And so we want to make sure that we're helping you plan your business, that we're helping you plan your life, that we're also helping you plan to take time off. Because again, when we love what we do, or when life throws us chaotic curveballs, right? A lot of times the first thing that gets let go is the planning, is the scheduling, because we feel that we don't have the time to even plan another thing. However, when we do take that time, we find that we actually have a lot more time, and it makes us just breathe. It gives us that sigh of relief of going, you know what? It's not as bad as what I was thinking. So we want you to make sure that you feel empowered with being in control of your schedule. Work hard, play hard, okay? All right, so organizing your time. Many of you already do this. So again, this is going to be a reiterator for some of you, is organizing your time in your calendar with color coding, right? And so whatever your colors are, family time first, right? Get that in there. Then it is your job. If you have a job and you have activities outside of that, or at that job or outside of that job with that job, you have to make sure you put that stuff in. Also meetings with your Tupperware business, right? So Ramley's director meetings, leader meetings, and then your party time. And I'm gonna show you here in the next couple of slides how much time you probably have available to you that you didn't even realize you had. Okay, how many of us would like to have more time? Yeah, all right. So your calendar that I had you guys print out, your calendar is plain, right? I mean, it's just your normal days. This calendar here, and I will actually send you this one also. This one is broken down into AM, afternoon, and PM. So AM is designed for like your 6 a.m. to noon, okay? Your afternoon is noon or 12:01 till about 5:59 p.m. And then your PM is 6 p.m. and on, okay? And so what you want to do, I'm just going to go ahead and show you this visual, is what I want you to do, we're actually going to have you take just a few minutes and actually work through this quick. So first you're going to put in, if you work a job, you're going to draw in the days you work and the time frames that you work. Okay, so I'm going to have you guys do that. Then what you'll do is you will actually then go through, and if the kids have events or activities going on, I want you to put those in for those ones that you want to be at. And I'm just going to, you know, my passion is to help us think a little bit different. My job is to never tell anybody what to do, because I don't like that. I don't like that. I would not do that. But I do want to help you think about, you know, when the kids get older, it gets a little more challenging because they're going in different directions and they're doing different activities. And so what I want you to think about is, as the kids are progressing in activities, do you need to go to every practice? Or are the practices something that either your spouse or a significant other or a grandparent, if that's available, can take? Or maybe you've got that neighborhood parent that can take your kids and you guys can swap back and forth. So those are just some things to look at. Now, sometimes you're the only one that can take the kids to the practices. And so you just have to work that in, okay? And then again, you're going to mark off your family days. But then what you're going to do is, I want you to put smiley faces, or again, if you color code, you draw green around those spots. I kind of like the smiley face idea because it makes you smile, thinking that you get to go make some money by impacting and empowering other people. And so you're going to put a smiley face or that dollar sign or that green square around the places that you can do parties. And now this is where we're going to give you some time back. We're going to show you what this looks like. Okay. There are 168 hours in a week, you guys. And if you subtract out 56 hours for sleep based on an 8-hour a night, Some of you would go, wow, that would be amazing if I could get 8 hours a night. Okay, so 56 hours if you get 8 hours a night. That leaves 112 hours yet in the week. Now, we're going to subtract out 50 hours if you work full time. So that's 40 hours plus at least 10 hours for commute time. So that leaves you 62 hours yet in a work week. So if there's 62 hours available and you subtract out 20 hours for Tupperware business, 20 hours, that gives you 42 hours left for you, for family stuff, for the other activities that are going on. So now we're going to break down a little bit different to show you, well, what does a 20-hour work week look like for Tupperware? Okay. So if you're doing 2 parties a week, that's roughly 6 hours. So that means there's 14 hours remaining. If we give you 2 hours for closing out the parties, entering parties, that kind of stuff, kind of that clerical stuff, maybe getting your folders ready, and 3 hours for meetings, an hour for planning, right? Because what do we say? What gets in the date book gets done. When we take the time to plan, we're less likely to fail. 2 hours for prep work. So actually we're including another 2 hours besides the 2 hours for closing and entering parties. Okay, so that part could be a little more flexible there. 3 hours for recruiting a week. I want you to think about, when was the last time you spent 3 hours a week on recruiting? And 3 hours for coaching and connecting with your team members. So when you look at that time frame, let's break it down for your income. This here is based on a $500 party average, you guys, okay? And I know the new standard is 600. So just know that these numbers are going to be beefed up a little bit. These numbers are lower than what they actually can be, all right? So profit on your personal sales, if you're doing 2 parties a week, is $1,000. Your personal sales volume bonus is 400. Your 4% profit plus, because remember, how do you get 4%? When do you get 4% profit plus?
Executive.
You got it. I was like, okay, I know y'all know this. Yes, executive. Okay, so that's $225. Your Vanguard bonus is 105. Your monthly executive manager bonus is 150. So your monthly income, you guys, is almost $1,900 to $2,000. Because remember, these numbers are lower than what the standard is now. So $2,000 extra a month, let's just round it up. $2,000 extra a month. Who wants this consistently? What would that do for you and your family? Let's share some things. What are some needs, wants, and desires that $2,000 extra a month would help with? You get to come off mute.
Rental property.
Okay, excellent. And would that help some, Pam?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing. Medical bills, Tandy, okay? All right, that would take a load off. So I just want you to think about needs, desires, and wants. That's where it starts. And if you can do that in 20 hours, a week. And I honestly, you guys, I think some of these numbers are beefed up a little bit. Okay, so technically you could do it in about 15 hours, but it's giving you some grace in there. Okay, and then again, it still gives you time for family, it gives you time for the kids' activities, it gives you time for you. So if you're taking almost $2,000 a month, divided by 80 hours a month, you would earn approximately $24 an hour. Not too bad for a side gig. So these slides, some of these slides I will put in the manager group for you because I think that they're extremely powerful. And it's definitely something that you might want to print off and put in a frame and keep in front of you. So again, when you're working your 20-hour work week, you're going to go, okay, party time. Oops. Sorry, I'm trying to watch chats and yay, okay. Party time, right? We know that that is one of the most important things. It's kind of like the oxygen mask on an airplane, I think. And so in an airplane, if ever need be, right, whose oxygen mask are you supposed to put on first? The person sitting next to you or putting it on yourself first?
Yourself.
Yourself. Why?
So that you don't become incapacitated to be able to help others.
Yes, exactly right, Pam. And so same thing with partying, guys, is that when your date book is building, is full, I want you to think, do you feel more confident? Do you feel more empowered? Do you feel more, I'm going to use the word capable to lead others? Not that you're not capable by leading others if the date book isn't there yet, but do you feel more capable? Yeah. And so party time, you definitely want to spend some more time on there if the date book's not where you want it. Okay. Your prep work, right? So putting together the packets, putting together your opportunity package, your host packets, maybe you're working on fundraiser packets, right? Whatever prep work needs to get done, your hostess gifts, your auction gifts, maybe it's your dating game, right? If you can actually sit down for an afternoon. I know Lisa and I have talked about this before. I know I used to sit down on an afternoon when like Brad and the kids and I were sitting watching TV. I don't watch TV very well, and so, but I like to always be with the family. And so we would sit down and I would have my goodies in front of me and a couple of totes and some curly ribbon and my cello bags. And the kids would want to help decorate the cello bags. Or decorate my envelopes for the hostess packets and the opportunity packets because we had stickers and markers. And were they perfect? No. But guess what? It was family done. And so I want you to think about how are you making your prep work part of family effort? Can you make it part of family effort? Your meeting time, right? We know this, the more we learn, the more we what? Earn. Right? The more we learn, the more we earn. And here's a question to just think about. Are you taking the information that you learn on a training call or at a meeting, at an event, and not only using it yourself, but passing it on to team members who maybe couldn't have been there in person? So do you have that scheduled in? And again, we'll go through some different tips and ideas on that. Recruiting. So before it shared 3 hours a week on recruiting. I want you to think about what if you started with 1 hour a week on recruiting? Because here's the thing, you guys. With recruiting, it takes the leaders to lead, right? It takes the leaders to lead and start the way. And the question is if our leaders aren't faithfully sharing the business on a daily, weekly basis, are our team members going to share the business on a daily and weekly basis? Probably not. And so how do we start that path? We want to make sure that we're leading the way by doing it. Okay. Our planning time. Planning time is just simply looking ahead of going, okay, what does my schedule look like in the next 4 to 6 weeks? Kind of forecasting. It's looking at where are your sales at so far for the week and for the month. What do you have left to go to hit your goal? How many parties is needed on a weekly basis to hit your sales goal? Okay, those are some quick planning that you want to make sure you're always doing. Your TCMD, who uses that? Who's heard of it? You're looking at me like I just talked a foreign language to you. Okay? Nobody's heard of it? Well, guess what?
That's the time management sheets, right?
Well, it's not time
No.
management. No.
Oh,
Team
okay.
count manager.
Yeah, that's the sheets I was thinking of. Just
Okay.
didn't call it by the right name.
Okay. So, well, we'll be going over that at our next leader get together. Okay. So that one is super helpful. And then your coaching and connecting time. How often are you connecting with your team members? And it's not, hey, what do you have going on all the time? Because that will be the fastest way to turn team members away. But it is connecting to say, hey, I was thinking of you. Is there anything I can support you with? Is there anything you need? It's connecting with your uplines. So habits of a successful manager. Number one is, what are your daily activities for your business? Right? What are your daily activities for your business? Are you checking into your business daily, like working it, not just, hey, I check Facebook and I answer some quick messages, but do you have at least your power hour in the schedule on a daily basis? Because those daily activities lead up to the big things. And when we don't do the daily activities, guess what? We don't achieve the big things. Then you've got your weekly activities. So your weekly activities, so like your daily activities, connecting with your team, dating phone calls, recruiting phone calls. Your weekly activities are your meetings, datings, right? Holding parties, monthly activities, again, meetings, celebration events. Maybe you have vendor event on a monthly basis. And again, we talked about this earlier too, you guys. The party, it's your office. It's where you're going to make your money. It's where you're going to save the most time and use your time the wisest. It's where you're also going to focus on the datings, focus on the recruiting. It's where, are you walking alone to your parties? Or are you taking team members with you? Because that's the best training that you can give people. And recognition. If you personally like recognition, what do you do to strive to make sure you're in the recognition? And number two, how do you give recognition to your unit leaders or to your unit team members? How do you give them recognition? And then how do you help build the confidence, not only in yourself, but also in your team members? Remember, we're usually our worst critic. So make sure you talk nice to yourself. Say nice things to yourself. And when you feel in that not so positive mind frame, which again, we all get into, it's very important to be extra aware of that you do not speak those words out loud, because those words come to life. And then those words, they fester, and then they make us angry or bitter or frustrated, and that does nobody any good. And so you want to make sure that you either listen to something positive. Sorry, guys, I might have to run her outside. Okay, hold on one sec. So sorry, guys. So the confidence is listen to something positive, whether it's a YouTube or a podcast or a book or music, or do something that gets you into the right frame of mind. And also, how do you uplift your team members? Because the more they're uplifted, the more positive influence they have surrounding them, guess what? The better they're going to do. Your power hours, you guys are so familiar with power hours. But again, I think it's not only important to review to make sure you're doing them and putting them into the schedule, but also, are you teaching your consultants to do a power hour a day? And how can they break it down? And what do you do if they say, man, I don't have an hour in a day? How do you help them work through that process? It's taking moments throughout the day. Every time they run to the bathroom, what do people usually have with them at all times anymore? The phone. So even when they're running to the bathroom, they can send some quick messages. When they're traveling, picking the kids up or taking kids to things, they could be making some phone calls. Maybe when they're waiting in line to pick up the kids, or they're traveling from work A to work B, right? They could be making some phone calls. So there's always moments that people can take, but sometimes it's helping them see those moments and they don't get overwhelmed. And that's where you guys come into play. You get to offer suggestions and tips and ideas. So let's go through some different coaching, okay? Before you coach your team members or offer advice to your team members, let them know that you care. Let them know that you're there to help and support them. That builds trust with them, right? People don't care how much we know until they know how much we care, right? So you want to build your trust, or build your trust with your consultants, with your team members. So during your coaching, you want to make sure that you're present with them. You're not doing dishes, you're not doing laundry, you're not outside doing stuff, but you want to make sure that you're present with them. And there's a variety of different ways that you can actually coach or be a support to your team members. So obviously phone is fabulous. Zoom is great. If you can't get together, you could do a quick 10-minute Zoom, because you guys can actually sign up for your own Zooms if you want. You get them for 20 minutes for free. Okay, so that is something to just kind of think about. But also you can text, you can private message. Those are just other ways that you can communicate. So there's variety, and I don't want people to think that, man, I can only do phone calls because that's the best way, and then we don't communicate at all, because finding the time to sometimes get on the phone can be a challenge. There's other ways that you can definitely coach and be present with your team members. Don't be judgmental, right? Don't, when someone says, I'm super busy, this is one that we get a lot lately. I'm super busy. I don't have time to work my business. Sometimes it's easy to go into the mode of, you don't have any idea what busy is, or man, if you walked in my shoes for a day or a week, I'd show you busy, right? And so it's being non-judgmental. It's just listening to them. And again, you get to ask questions to help them think differently. And so what I like to say is, if I could show you how we can find you at least another 20 hours a month, I say a month, would you be excited? But yeah, I'd be excited. And guess what, you guys? We usually find them about 40 hours. So it's not arguing with them. It's not being judgmental. It's just listening and thinking of different ways on how you can ask different questions. Okay? Coach is someone who believes in someone's potential So who are those team members that you believe in their potential, that you see that greatness in them? Have you shared that with them? Have you planted those seeds with them? That, man, you know what, Tandy, I see this in you. Have you thought about taking the next step in your business? Have you thought about, becoming a manager? Have you thought about working towards this? Have you shared that with your team members? You encourage and build their confidence. So maybe it's their first $500 in sales they put in. Did you cheer them on? Maybe it was the first phone call that they made. Did you cheer them on? Maybe they're getting ready for their first party. Do you call them before and let them know that they're going to do amazing and to call you afterwards? Those are just some simple things that you can work in there that builds confidence. Demonstrate successful behaviors and attitude to your team members. So remember, crap goes up, never goes down. No negative talk goes down to team members. Okay, successful behavior. It means that you never say that business is hard and things aren't going right and things aren't coming easy, ever. That never goes to team members, ever. Because if you're saying that to your consultants, why would they work the business? They're immediately going to think it's hard. They're immediately going to think it's challenging. They're immediately going to be like, my leader can't do it. I can't do it then. So you've got to be very cautious with that. Talk to your uplines, okay? Walk the walk. Don't just talk the talk. So anything that you're having your consultants work on, you had better be working on as well. You give them a dating challenge and your day book's not full, you want to make sure you give yourself a dating challenge. Okay, so walk the walk. You're encouraging them to recruit. Are you doing the same? And guess what? We've all been in that spot where we might go, oh my goodness, I'm super nervous. I don't know what I'm doing here, right? Guess what? That's when you reach out to your uplines. That's when you just take your team member's hand and say, you know what? I'm nervous as well, but we're going to do this. It's okay to say that. Guess what? I get a little nervous too, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be good. We're going to do this. That builds confidence in you that they're going, you know what? She gets nervous too. You didn't say it was hard. You didn't say things weren't working. You didn't say any of that. You just said, I get a little nervous too. But then they see you walking the talk with them. That speaks folds to them. Okay? I'm going to not necessarily go through this with you guys, but I will post this in the manager group for you. What to ask if your consultants have these situations or these questions or they're struggling with these. So there's everything from not enough parties up to too few of datings, off of a party, low party average, no recruit leads. Okay. And so it just gives you some different scenarios and different questions that you can ask your team members. Okay. Great minds discuss ideas. Average minds discuss events. Small minds discuss people. Eleanor Roosevelt. So make sure that you're a great mind that discusses ideas. You brainstorm on how to become better. You brainstorm on how to grow your business. You brainstorm with your peers on how we're going to become the best that we can be. How are we going to challenge each other? How are we going to go to the next step together? Who's going to be the first person to achieve it? Are you challenging not only yourself, but your team members? And what about your peers? What about your other manager friends? Right? So be that great mind that discusses ideas. Every accomplishment began with a decision to try. What's that thing or things that you might be nervous to do. It might stretch your comfort zone a little bit, but it could make a big difference. When was the last time that you did something uncomfortable for your business? When was the last time you took 30 days? You did a 30-day challenge, and every day you did something a little bit uncomfortable for your business. It's something I'm going to challenge you to do, because I think sometimes we get so comfortable that we forget the comfort zone isn't a safe zone. Comfort zone can sometimes mean a danger zone. So this portion, you guys, is just reiterating that this is your final month to you as existing leaders get to take advantage of your amazing manager growth program. And so I want you to just kind of take a reflection moment on how many awards have you earned? Have you given it your all every single month to make sure that you did everything possible to start earning the awards, to earn the award you want? Did you give it everything that you have? And if the answer is yes, celebrate it. Yay. And if the answer is no, you still have 2.5 weeks to make this month and this final surge of your manager growth program absolutely amazing. I want you that at the end of the month, at the end of a week, you can look back and you can say you gave everything you had to make goals, to pick up the phone, to date more parties, to share the business. And if you at the end of every week and at the end of this month can honestly and wholeheartedly say that you gave it everything that you had, hats off to you. That's what I want for you every single month. So you can look back at the end of a week and at the end of the day and at the end of the month and say that you gave it your all. Because you are your business owner. You're in charge of your paycheck. You're in charge of where this business goes and how quick it goes. You're in charge of that. And you deserve to achieve those needs, wants, and desires and those dreams if they're really important to you. You know the program, right? I did a video on these awards, you guys. So if you didn't see that video, go on Shazam and look under the videos, because the awards in person we know are always better. And let me tell you, this crossbody bag, the laptop bag, OMG, those are amazing. And the patent folio, they're phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So in closing, I'm going to ask you for your takeaways in just a second. So in closing, I hope that you take the time to reflect on the things that are important to you, your wants, needs, and desires, on why you do this side thing or why you do this business, whatever you are calling it. That you take the moments in order to go get what you want and to work on the things that will help you get what you want, because you deserve it. So let's go ahead, take some moments and share a couple of takeaways.
Remembering even a power hour, and just breaking it down into, your quarter hours,
Mhm.
and it may not all be in that same hour, and just break it up, and that's how you're going to get it done some days.
Absolutely. Excellent, Pam. Thank you.
I like that Eleanor Roosevelt saying,
Mm.
and I've seen it before, and I need to print that.
Yeah, I
And
can post. I can post that.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. I know I love motivational sayings. It's such a good reminder of things. Lisa or Tandy, takeaways?
I think the breakdown of what you can earn at the exec level was enlightening. I think sometimes we get caught up in what we're doing that we don't realize the potential of the money that we can make.
Yeah.
And it gets lost in the busyness. So having that breakdown, it's like, oh my gosh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then along with the power hour, breaking it down for the consultants and sharing that with them in a consultant form is a brilliant idea to share and to create that, to create them doing something.
Mm-hmm.
My unit has a tendency to just kind of just whatever, but coming up with a plan. Okay, this is what we're going to start doing. Whoever, and setting out the carrot, dangling the carrot in front of them, saying, okay, you do this for a week straight. I mean, if I can get them to a power hour a day for a week, that's huge improvement.
Absolutely.
Because I think they just ask one or two friends and they hear that word no and it gets forgotten.
Yes.
Well, we got to continue on. No is not always no. It's just not right now. So we need to recheck with those that have said no. And so I love that idea of talking that with the consultants. I do it myself. And I often question, well, what am I doing that I can share to get team members doing? And I don't, for training purposes, I know I don't. So I love being enlightened and guided on what I can be doing with them.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Thanks, Lisa. And Tandy, I know you're typing. Let me look here. Things that aren't scheduled don't get done. Mm-hmm. And then consultant power hour. Yes, absolutely. And so I'm going to stop recording this, so don't go anywhere. Thanks for everybody listening. Okay. Now let's